We're at Glenville Lake here in Fayetteville, North Carolina, to hear more about watersheds and their overall importance to our water quality and the local environment. We're going to hear more from our watersheds environmental specialist, Winnie Dunaway, on why we should preserve this area.
A watershed is an area of land that water flows across, through, and under before draining into a stream, creek, lake, river, or ocean. We all live in a watershed. Watersheds supply water for drinking, irrigation, industry, recreation, and habitat for wildlife. All of the water is impacted by the surfaces it flows across. That is why it is important to ensure the watershed is healthy and free from contaminants. The ultimate mission of the Watershed Management Program is to provide a safe drinking water source to the public. The watershed staff is tasked with protecting and managing 4 lakes, 4 stormwater management ponds, and over 3,000 acres of forested land buffer surrounding those lakes and ponds in the Little Cross Creek watershed. It is important to protect these areas so that the water that reaches the water treatment facility is as clean as it can be. You can say that the water is being cleaned naturally before it reaches the water treatment facility. This reduces the cost to the PWC customers and ensures PWC is providing a safe drinking water supply. Since the lakes are source water lakes, meaning they're used for drinking water, it is extremely important to monitor water quality and maintain riparian and forested buffers. Buffers are needed not just along the shoreline, but a fully forested, undisturbed, and natural vegetated land buffer surrounding all the lakes is needed. It is a challenge to manage an urban lake because of the stormwater runoff that the lakes receive. The stormwater is not the only thing that makes its way to the lake. Lots of different pollutants wash in with the water. All types of litter, fast food containers, soda bottles and cans, cigarette butts, all types of plastics, oils and gasoline from paved roads, and even salt used to clear the roads in the winter, and pesticides and herbicides also. Sediment from construction site and soil runoff from residential yards is one of the most detrimental pollutants. Sediment negatively affects water quality and storage capacity in the lakes. The sediment fills in the lake and it becomes more shallow with each rain event. Sediment also makes the lake turbid, not allowing sunlight to penetrate through the water. The plants and the animals living in the water suffer. Sediment fills the gills of fish. It covers their eggs, affecting fish populations. It covers the aquatic insects at the bottom of the lake that help filter and clean the water. And the sunlight doesn't reach the submerged plants, hampering plant growth, slowing photosynthesis and reducing oxygen availability for the living creatures in the water. Turbidity disrupts the entire aquatic food chain. So managing urban pollutants is the biggest challenge, and the development within a water supply watershed is the biggest threat to the water quality, and it affects us all as PWC customers. We must protect our watershed and source water to prevent irreversible degradation that could render our source water unsuitable for use as a water supply. Establishing and maintaining a natural vegetative buffer is the single most important aspect, along with protecting and preserving wetlands. Wetlands act as sponges, allowing pollutants and nutrients to be stored and absorbed naturally by the plants and trees. I love seeing the natural processes and the beauty of undisturbed nature and its resiliency. But I don't like having a front row seat to see the negative things that occur to nature in the urban setting, such as litter floating in the water, illegal dumping throughout the entire watershed, sediment plumes depositing in the lake, turbid water in the lake every time it rains, destruction of forested lands and wetlands for development, and seeing the total disrespect for the environment. The forested lands surrounding the lakes are listed in the North Carolina Natural Heritage Program Registry and includes highly significant natural features critical to the preservation of North Carolina's natural diversity. The lands are home to several rare plants and animals, and one of the largest old-growth longleaf pine stands left in North Carolina, and one of only 15 left in the entire Southeast. There are countless old-growth, flat-topped, red-cockaded woodpecker cavity trees and historical turpentine trees dating back to as early as 1770. By the 1770s, North Carolina was responsible for 70% of the tar exported from North America and 50% of the turpentine. These trees served North Carolina then and are still alive and serving us by protecting our water quality. There are also old-growth bottomland hardwoods surrounding the Glenville Lake and Mintz Pond. This type of forest grows in floodplains and wetlands and is becoming lost at an alarming rate due to urban development. The giant, majestic, bald cypress trees are so beautiful, growing in the water and along the edges of the lakes. They have large knees, which are part of their root system, protruding up out of the water in different gnarly shapes. They are not just beautiful, but perform an important job. The bald cypress is one of the most effective trees at sequestering carbon from the atmosphere, and their extensive root system helps stabilize the soil and prevent erosion.
As you can see, watersheds are important and need to be protected for our overall water quality and our environment. So no, you can make a difference by not littering and opposing anything that would infringe on our watersheds.